everyone, and welcome to the Retirement Blueprint. I'm your host, Paul Gebhard, with my co-host today, Tim Lofton. Tim, welcome to the show.
I love being on the show, Paul.
I love having you here, man. You're looking snazzy.
Thanks.
Is that a new
You look
jacket?
pretty good too.
Well, you know, every now and then my wife lets me buy a new suit.
You know, my favorite tie suit combination is always that one that it looks like right out of the Ohio State Buckeyes locker room.
Hey,
and I love that.
I'm ready.
I mean, how about you got to be a go Bucks.
Go Buckeyes,
right?
Baby. Let's go Buckeyes for sure. All right, what a great way to start.
Yeah.
So I want to have some extra money in retirement so I can make sure I get season tickets to the Buckeye games.
Well, season tickets to the Buckeye games, we've got to do a lot of planning for.
Do we?
Especially if you want to get free ones through donation.
Oh, really?
Yeah. For our viewers at home, if you happen to have $20 to $30 million that you can contribute to Ohio State University, you too could have free tickets.
Hold on a second. 20 to 30 million bucks.
Oh my gosh, it's a big number.
Man.
It is a big number today. You know, I went to Morehead State University in Kentucky. You know, if you make a small donation, you'll get free anything.
Right.
You know, as you go up to these bigger universities, there's more commas required for free stuff.
Yeah, I guess it's a good thing I went to Slippery Rock University,
Right.
so I can afford the free stuff there.
Right.
So anyway, all right, now we're on to talking retirement. Let's get into some interesting things today. Let's just jump off the bridge here with a word that we hear a lot. I hear this a lot in television commercials. I see it in ads, but the word fiduciary.
Yes.
What are they talking about fiduciary, and why is that so important?
Well, you know, the word fiduciary has been around forever.
Okay.
The people using the word fiduciary has been around about 4 or 5 years.
Right.
So, you know, never did we have somebody come in our office before the Department of Labor rule. So this is going back, 4, 5, 6 years now. I've lost track. Where they would come in and say, now, are you a fiduciary? That never happened.
No.
It never happened. And what transpired was that the Department of Labor was basically tasked with this job that really had nothing to do with the Department of Labor, with somehow figuring out how they can hold people to a higher standard that are in the financial services industry. And so prior to that, things transpired mainly along the lines of what we would refer to as best interest. That wasn't really a terminology. What people would say is it suitable? It was a suitability. Is what you offered your client, was it okay? Did it do what it was supposed to do? Not was it the best, but was it okay? Was it suitable for them?
Right, suitable, okay.
Then that best interest came out of the fiduciary piece of the definition that said, no, that's not good enough. The standard really should be that you're offering them the best idea or the best thing that's in their best interest, not in the best interest of the firm that you work for,
right?
Not in the best interest of you, the person that's recommending it, that's maybe going to get a commission on it, but putting your client in the center of the conversation.
Well, you would think everybody would do that.
You would think so.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I know lots and lots of people in this business, many of who are not in a fiduciary role. They work at one of the big box firms, and they've not been held to that standard, but still hold themselves to that standard. They still make recommendations based on the best interest of their clients.
Yeah.
I also know that there's people out there who are labeled a fiduciary, who have a fiduciary role, that don't uphold that same standard. So the question, as with many labels, is not necessarily is a person fiduciary or not. The question is, do you trust them?
Right.
We tell people every day, go with your gut. You either love us or you don't. And we want people to be all in. When we're doing planning for somebody, there's too many people out there that they could go to. We want them to choose us as we want to choose them. We want to add value. That's why we don't just work with everybody.
Right.
It's not a good fit. It has to be a good fit, Paul.
So there's a selective process that goes into it.
Of course,
and
on both sides.
Absolutely. And it's the way it should be, right?
It should be that
I mean, you're
way.
getting ready to get into a relationship with somebody.
You are.
You should be able to know, like, and trust them.
Well, it's and we equate it a little bit to dating. You know, for our viewers at home, you know, we're asking them, hey, pick up that phone and give us a call.
Right.
Come in and sit down with us and let's go on a date.
I like it.
Right?
I like it.
And they're going to share information with us much the same way we would have a get to know you date. Then we're going to come back and we're going to tell them a little bit about us and who we are, much like that second date.
Yeah.
And then they get to decide, you know, do you want to keep dating?
Yeah.
Or do you want to keep looking?
What's the next step?
Right.
What's the next step? I like that. And, you know, to folks out there that, you know, you might be thinking, boy, all this stuff is so confusing, Paul. I mean, the terminology, the stuff that's out in the industry, it just way over my head. Whether it is, whether it isn't, the reality is you should be working with an advisor who makes it simple, who breaks it down for you, asks you lots of questions, and explains it to you quite simply. Right? Because it needs to be engaging and you don't need to be intimidated. That's one of the key components. I think most folks out there, Tim, that's what they get concerned about. It's a daunting task anyway, right?
Well, Paul,
it's very intimidating.
They Google themselves to confusion.
Yes.
They do. They get on the internet and they start looking up stuff and they go down a rabbit hole and they never get to a point of actually making a decision because it seems like they started out with 10 questions and now they have 20.
Right. Right. Exactly. And to the person that, you know, you may be one of those folks that beat yourself up for a bad decision. Don't do that either. Right? I mean, I've made mistakes in my investment portfolios. I've done some things on the real estate side I should not have done. I broke the diversification rule because I got a little greedy. I'm being honest. But you know what? If you've done something that hasn't worked out, don't be ashamed of it. Get help with it, right? Get back on track. And that's a big part of this too, isn't it?
It is. And Paul, one of the things that we tell clients every day is you are where you are, you have what you have. What are you going to do about it?
What are you going to do about it?
Right? When you don't know, there's an excuse for not acting. Once you know, there's no longer an excuse. Now it's a choice.
That's right.
Now you can still make that choice, but understand that there's a difference between not knowing and not understanding and not making a choice. When you understand what you need to do and you don't do it, you're putting yourself at risk, you're putting your spouse at risk, and you're putting your future and retirement at risk. That's where we want to come alongside and we want to help. We want to be a partner in that process.
Yeah. I love what you said about choices. And today, I understand you have a wonderful choice for folks if they call.
We do indeed. In fact, they don't even have to choose. We have 2 complimentary things that we're going to do for the folks at home.
Well,
we do this every week, but I want you to think especially hard this week, and here's the reason why. Maybe you've been watching the show now for a few weeks or maybe even a few months, and you've thought about it, but you haven't actually acted on it. Maybe you've written down our phone number, but you haven't actually called. Today's the day. Here's what I'm asking you to do. What do you have to lose? Pick up the phone and give us a call. 855-684-3485. Set up a meeting. Tell us your story and let us share 2 complimentary gifts for you. One, we're going to give you that Riskalyzer report that we talk about every week. It won the Nobel Prize for Economics. It is a great tool in understanding where you are today in the world of risk. The second thing is we're going to do that blueprint planning sheet. We're going to take your retirement, the stuff you put in that 3-ring binder that you carry around, we're going to put it up on the screen and show you how your retirement can come to life. We want to partner with you. We want to do life with you. We want to plan your tomorrow today.
Love it. Retirement coming to life. I love that. Couldn't have said that better myself, my friend. Very nicely done. I want to ask you a question, though. What changes if you don't choose? If you don't choose, isn't that a choice? But I guess it really comes down to what results will you see if you're not making the choice to do something? What will happen? The same nothing. Call 855-684-3485. Meet with Tim and his team. It's a complimentary review. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back after these messages.
As you prepare for, transition into, and navigate retirement, there's one thing you're sure to have: questions. Lots of questions about retirement. Like, when can I retire? Will I run out of money? Who pays for nursing home care? And many, many more.
Axum Planning and Wealth Management uses the Beta Blueprint retirement planning software to help answer your questions.
This program takes stacks of documents from every area of your financial life and converts them into one large picture. Just as you would never buy a house without seeing it first, why would you ever retire without being able to visualize it? By being able to see the whole picture, you can then make better decisions about your retirement. First, the blueprint looks at your top goals and concerns. Then, we look at your age and the trigger age decisions you have to make, like when to take Social Security, Medicare, and required minimum distributions. Next, we analyze your fixed income streams and compare that to your retirement lifestyle. For most people, their lifestyle exceeds their income, so we determine which assets to tap to make up the difference. When looking at assets, there are 3 key numbers we want you to know. The first number is the risk score of what you own. Every investor has a risk tolerance, and every investment has a risk score. The risk scale runs from 1 to 99, and the S&P 500 has a score of 78. We use a scientific framework that won the Nobel Prize for Economics for its ability to identify true risk tolerance. If you were taking too much risk, when would you want to know? The second number we want to know is the maximum drawdown of what you own. Maximum drawdown is the maximum loss from a market peak to a market trough. The maximum drawdown of the S&P 500 in 2008 was about 51%. What was the maximum drawdown of what you own? And the third number is your annual withdrawal rate percent. If you're taking too much here, you could run out of money. Finally, we look at your insurance and long-term care. Do you have life insurance? If so, what type, and does it expire? We analyze the income reduction from losing a spouse. We want to know if the surviving spouse will be protected. Have you planned for long-term care? Do you know all your health care options? Being able to put all this information in picture format is like watching holistic planning come to life. Your financial picture helps us identify the potential cracks and red flags in your overall retirement plan. Remember, a picture is worth 1,000 words. Discover the power of the picture for your retirement. Learn how to get a blueprint of your life.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Retirement Blueprint. I'm your host, Paul Gebhard, with my co-host today, Mr. Tim Lofton. Tim, thank you for being with me again, my friend. And listen, good information. We're talking about all things in retirement. We talked a little bit about different aspects in different programs, but I wanted to get to an aspect that, you know, maybe a lot of viewers don't understand the power of, say, a Roth conversion. Mm-hmm. Who is it for? You know, why should someone even consider looking at a Roth conversion?
Well, I mean, the short answer is that, you know, I have no idea whether or not someone should do a Roth conversion without actually sitting down with them. Right?
Okay.
But we can talk in generalities, I think, of you know, some of the misnomers out there. A lot of times our wealthier clients think they can't do a Roth conversion.
Really?
Right. They get confused with the rule that there's an income limit to setting up a Roth and making a contribution. But there is not an income limit for converting a Roth. So literally you could make an IRA contribution and then turn around and do a Roth conversion, and that would be okay. We call it backdooring the Roth contribution.
Interesting.
So your question, which was really good, why would people do that? Why would people have a Roth IRA? What's the advantage of a Roth IRA? I mean, I'm sure our viewers at home are familiar with the fact that it is a tax-free growth vehicle. It is a vehicle that the income and money that you take out of it comes out tax-free, and that is certainly an appeal. But why would I convert a large amount of money, say in a 401k or an IRA, to a Roth, right?
Yeah.
The problem, I think, a lot of times the hurdle is the taxes, right?
Right. Okay.
Because while you can convert that money to a Roth IRA, you can't do that without paying taxes on it. And that is a lot of times a showstopper for people where they're like, oh my gosh, like I don't want to pay taxes. And that's not advice that they're going to get, by the way, from their tax preparer. a lot of times, because the tax preparer's job is to make sure they pay the least amount of taxes.
Right.
If they do a Roth conversion, they're going to pay a lot more taxes. So that advice is typically not coming from their CPA. Our tax planning area, those people will tell you that it, in many cases, can be a great opportunity for people that have a large IRA and are still in a higher income tax bracket in retirement. So that person a lot of times looks like, you know, 2 pensions. Wife has a pension, husband has a pension. They both have Social Security. A lot of times their income in retirement is 6 figures. And so as they look at age 60, what their RMDs, or those required minimum distributions that the IRS makes them take at age 72, those numbers can be pretty staggering, not at 72, but at 82, 92. So as we're looking at, you know, what those projections could be, we had a situation. This is going back 5 or 6 years. We had a married couple.
Okay.
They had about 2.2 million or so in IRAs.
Right.
And that was really all they had. That was their primary investment. And they didn't have any kids. And they were looking at, you know, using that money to supplement their Social Security. They had already done the math, and they figured out that, you know, basically they were going to get about $80,000 out of their IRAs at 70 and a half at that point. And that was exactly what they needed. So the question that we asked was, well, what about at age, say, 90? Let's say that you had a 3% growth on that money, or maybe a 5% growth on that money. What does that minimum distribution look like at age 90? And of course, they didn't know. So we did the math for them and discovered that while 80,000 was the amount that they were going to be taking out at age 70 and a half, it was closer to 650,000 in required minimum distribution by age 90, with just that 3 to 5% growth rate.
That's a huge
It's
difference.
a huge difference. So in that case, our tax planning area basically suggested that they do a Roth conversion over a period of 5 years. They basically took $800,000 out of their 2.2. Each year they did 1/5 of that. They paid taxes on it.
Okay.
But our tax area, their calculation was that they would save almost $1 million in taxes
$1 million
over 30 years.
Wow.
If the tax rates don't go up, which of course we believe that they will in the future, because this is the lowest tax environment we've ever been in. So that's the type of opportunity. And again, you don't have to have $2.2 million for that to make sense. What you do have to have is a meeting and a plan.
Right.
And our tax group has to look at your situation to see if that even makes sense.
Right.
We have seen people who have done Roth conversions where it didn't even make sense.
Got it.
They've come in, they've already done it. So, I mean, there's nothing we can do to fix it. But sometimes that strategy doesn't work. So it's not a matter of should you or shouldn't you with just a generality. It's understanding if you should based on your plan.
The individual need.
The individual need.
Yeah, it really
Correct.
matters. So again, today you have a special offer for the viewers, and I know we have some spots available, but that's starting to fill up quickly. Would you mind reminding the viewer today what you're offering them if they reach out?
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, the example that I just gave you of saving money on taxes by doing tax planning, that's just one of the many things that we can evaluate with our retirement blueprint. It evaluates the 5 cornerstones of retirement: income plan, estate plan, tax plan, healthcare plan, and investment plan. We have people in our office that are experts in each of those different areas. They want to go to work for you. Understand today what that means for your future by simply picking up the phone and making a call. You set up an appointment that doesn't cost you anything, and we're going to give you a complimentary retirement blueprint and risk-alize report just for going through the process. Take control of your retirement today. Pick up the phone. Give us a call. We'd love to do life with you.
Good stuff. Take control. That's what we're talking about. There's a time when we can count on the government or employers to take care of us when we got to retirement, but not anymore. That job is ours. It's yours. You have to choose that. You have to take control. You have to build the team, your dream team, to make sure the dreams come true. It starts today, right now. Get it started by reaching out to Tim and his team. Take advantage of the complimentary review. 855-684-3485. We got to take a short break. We'll be right back after these messages.
When was the last time you saw your financial professional? Are you getting the most out of the strategy that was created for you? Although you've done a great job finding someone to help plan for your future, are you 100% sure that you were given the right strategy? We can help answer these questions and more with a complimentary second opinion evaluation. We will take a look at what you have in place and then help determine if you're well positioned to get the most out of your future retirement income. In the event that it is not, we can help by making suggestions and showing you how to get on the right path. You wouldn't get just one opinion when it comes to a major health decision, so why would you treat your most important financial decision with such disregard? Call today for your no-cost, no-obligation second opinion evaluation to see if you're getting the most out of your retirement income plan.
Again, welcome back, everybody, to the Retirement Blueprint. I am your host, Paul Gebhard, with my co-host today, my buddy, Tim Lofton. Tim, always good sharing time with you and definitely converting. It was easy for me to say. Did we mention this was a live program? Yeah, it's not scripted, okay? Just so you know, right? But I just love the conversation. That's what I'm getting at. And so I appreciate you for sharing so much knowledge and so much information with people. The goal is to get people to retirement through retirement and really to enjoy retirement, right? And so when there are folks out there thinking, hey, I don't even know if I have enough money to work with somebody like Tim. Maybe Tim only works with people with $2.2 million. I don't know. Is there a limit, Tim? I mean, do folks have to have a certain amount of money to work with your firm?
That's a great question. And I think, for a lot of the advisor firms out there, they do have minimums. And we've just never done that. It doesn't feel right. What got me into this business was to help people. And so just because somebody may not end up working with us doesn't mean that we can't help them. And so we don't have a minimum. Our job is to sit down and hear your story and to understand where you're trying to go and to determine if we can add value. If we can't add value, we can't add value. And we do that, every week somebody comes in and it's just not an area where we can help with. Or where they are is already a good place to be. And for them to make a change, it would be a lateral move. We don't want people to make a lateral move to us. We want it to be an upgrade. We want to add value to their situation. We want to make their retirement better. And so the only way that we can determine that is to sit down with people. So we don't have a minimum. There's definitely things that we can do for people who are very wealthy. We have a lot of experience in that. But you know what? What does that even mean? What does very wealthy in Dayton, Ohio mean? Right? I mean, we got a couple of billionaires that are here, but that's not the normal person in Dayton, Ohio. That's not the normal person in the Midwest. Most of the people that we see typically in retirement fall between similar lines. And so if you're at home and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I don't think we have enough, let us tell you that. Okay? Don't keep yourself from getting something better by eliminating the opportunity of even talking to us.
Before you even started.
That's right.
Yeah, don't pre-qualify yourself because you don't know. You don't know. You don't know what you don't know. And a conversation is complimentary.
It is.
Which is fantastic. All right, I want to ask you one more question before we kind of end the show for today. And it's income related because it's a buzzword. I mean, I heard everything on the good, bad, and the ugly side about this word. But I happen to be partial to it. I believe in them. And that's the word annuities. Okay? What's your take on them? Are they good? They bad? They ugly? What are they, Tim?
Well, they're misunderstood. And people can Google themselves into some really bad information about them. Primarily, I think the confusion when you say the word annuity, and we talk about annuities a lot in the office, people either think they're the greatest thing since sliced bread or they're horrible and they've read all these bad things about them. And I hear that exact thing. Well, Susie Orman said that, they're not very good.
Oh, yeah.
Well, what did Susie Orman say? Which ones was she talking about? Well, I don't know,
Yeah.
but just annuities. Well, saying the word annuity is like saying the word car, right? I mean,
So true.
and I say the same thing about trusts. The word trust is like saying the word car, but annuities are the same way. There's so many different types.
Yeah.
And there are some bad ones out there.
Yep.
Without a doubt, there are some bad ones out there. What I find more often is that people own the wrong thing. You find people that own an annuity that shouldn't, or you find people that own an annuity and they own the wrong kind of annuity.
Gotcha.
There's essentially three major types of annuities. You have a fixed annuity, which works very similar to a CD. You put it in, you get a fixed rate, you get your money back.
Right.
Then you have a variable annuity. Those tend to be pretty expensive, but they have a lot of bells and whistles. Then you have an indexed annuity. If you have questions about it, sit down with somebody who knows a lot about it. We know a lot about it. We've been talking about annuities for 27 years.
Right.
Along with everything else, we'd be happy to help people navigate that question.
Yeah. It's interesting. I want to share a quick story. I'm a property casualty agent by trade, and I work with a lot of people. And in 2008, I saw two groups of people. This is kind of how I came to love annuities, right? I had two groups. Ones that were invested heavily in the market, they got stuck in the accumulation side, they got close to their retirement. That market thing happened in 2008, and guess what happened?
They lost.
30, 40%. Some of these folks had to go back to work.
Right.
I just kept finding this one group of people, though, in my office that come and say, oh, I'm good, Paul. Nothing happened to me. I'm fine. Just enjoying retirement. I'm like, really? I mean, what are you doing different? It's so interesting how many of these folks were like, oh, we had annuities. We've got some of our money in annuities, and a big part of our portfolio in our retirement is protected by it. And that's what got me intrigued by the word, right?
And there's a great clip out there that Susie Orman did on YouTube with that exact subject. You can Google that at home. It's pretty funny. Where she was saying that they were bad. A caller calls in and gives that scenario, and she's like, "Well, in that case, they make a lot of sense."
Well, of course.
After she just said they never make sense.
Yeah, exactly. Which I don't want to get started on this whole radio talk show people and all that good stuff, but I don't know. I don't take financial advice from folks that might have filed bankruptcy somewhere in their past.
Right.
And there are people out there that are doing that. One of them you know very well. But listen, I just got to tell you, I enjoy our conversations, and I just really appreciate what you do in your community. So thank you. And thank you for your service to this country.
Thank you, Paul.
Because if you didn't know that, my friend served in infantry as well. But it's the end. But not yours. Yours is just the beginning. It's the beginning today. To get the plan you want, to make sure your plan's on track, give them a call. It's a complimentary review. 855-684-3485. Thank you for being with us. Be well and enjoy your retirement.